some sort of foam rolling or self myofascial release, something to kind of break, some of that tension up that we can build up throughout the week. All right, so we're going to start off with I have a tennis ball which has a little bit more give, and then I also have just like a therapy ball which has some grooves on it, and it's a little bit firmer, so it has a little bit less give. It's going to give a little bit more of more pressure on that. So we're going to start off with the bottom of our feet. So with this, you can either do this standing or kneeling. I'm doing it kneeling just so I can kind of be eye level with you. And so with this, we want to just kind of think of our foot broken into different pieces. Okay, and so we have, all the way down the middle. Turn this down. We have three spots all the way down the middle. So the ball of our foot in the middle, and the arch of our foot in the middle, and then towards our heel, more towards, like, if you suffer from plantar fasciitis or anything like that, you're going to feel that a little bit more towards that heel and towards the arch. And then also going along the inside line and the lateral line of the foot, kind of on this outside edge here. Okay, so wherever you're feeling tension, you can kind of go there first. I like to kind of just use the tennis ball to kind of just feel out or hunt any different spots that that maybe feel a little bit more tender. And I'm just trying to, like, wrap my foot around the ball and trying to, find those little tender spots that, and if your foot is really tender, then you're not going to need to look very hard. I try to do this every week, so it's not that bad. When I first started doing it, that was a different story. There was a lot more, the bottom of your foot is really nervy, so you want to make sure that you're not going straight into that aggravation or anything like that. But the purpose of this is just to break up some of that underlying tension that we have, which a lot of the times, something stemming from the foot, we can feel all the way, up into the knee, up into the hip area, even the lower back. So now I'm going to go into with the little bit more firm TheraBall or therapy ball, and I'm just going to wrap my feet around it, apply some pressure, and just kind of feel it out. I'm not moving around too much. I'm not rolling it around too much. I'm just trying to find one spot that feels a little bit, tense, and just hanging out there for a little bit. Okay, and if it feels super uncomfortable, then you can just move it around a little bit. And just remember to breathe through any sort of, uncomfortableness. Alright, just kind of wrapping my foot around that. Now I'm just going to go one side, just do kind of one side. You can kind of get the idea of what it would be like to do both sides, but we're going to do the bottom of our foot and our calves. So if you notice, I started out at the ball, then I went to kind of the arch, applied some pressure, and I'm kind of keeping it there for about 20-30 seconds, and then I'm kind of moving it down. All right, I'm not just continuously rolling it. Although it might feel good, you're not really breaking anything up, and it's not like, this isn't essentially breaking any of the tissue up, but it's kind of it's almost tenderizing some of those muscles underneath there. All right. And I'm just going down the middle. But like I said, if you have any aggravation that's more towards the lateral side of your foot, kind of that outside edge, or more towards the inside, then you can use that ball specifically on that area. All right. Now we're going to go into our calves. So with this, we're going to use the foam roller first. I kind of like to use the foam roller just to warm everything up. And like I said, we're just going to focus on one side at a time. So we're going to keep it on this left side. And I'm just going to kind of go back and forth. Put as much weight as you want on that. and then moving your leg side to side on that. Here, I know this is kind of dark. Let me see if I can get some more light in here. You stay right there, there we go. Alright, so that way you can kind of see my pants a little bit more, and you can kind of see where I'm placing that foam roller. So we want to get right below that knee joint, but not going into the Achilles, right? So kind of in that meaty part of the calf. And notice I'm working the lateral side and kind of going back and forth. I'm not applying really a lot of pressure on this portion of it, just because right now, just like I did with the tennis ball first, on the bottom of the foot, I'm just kind of hunting out some spots, just kind of seeing if I feel any tenderness or any tension. And my tension usually, and for the most part, I feel like a lot of people, a lot of the clients that I see, the tension kind of resides on that lateral portion or that outside portion of the calf. So once I got that going, I'm going to kind of find some spots there. Then I'll use my other leg to kind of cross over and then just start to apply pressure in that sense. And just getting a little bit deeper, but then this is what really makes the difference too, is I'll sometimes place my hand there and then just kind of move the foot around. Oh, we got a guy that wants to try to steal the show now, so. But yeah, make sure that you stay on the same spot. I'll get him out of the way in a little bit. And then just kind of rotating through on that and going both directions, really trying to take it through that full range of motion, and then still kind of going over, hunting over some different spots in there. Okay, and just, you know, they could be lower, more towards the Achilles, where that little junction where they meet up, you know, with the calf muscle. Or some people feel it a little bit higher, right? So they'll feel it a little bit more towards the knee, the back of the knee. Okay, but for the most part, you're gonna feel that on that lateral side. And you notice I'm wincing a little bit because, yeah, I got some hot spots, I call them. And so sometimes you'll be able to, depending on the, you know, the degree of it and the tension of it, you'll be able to knock these out in a couple of sessions. And sometimes you'll just have to chip away and chip away and chip away at them, because it's been years where you've been dealing with this tension and your body has just kind of adapted to just kind of living with that, or, you know, having your body move with that tension, where you'll notice a big difference once you start breaking some of this stuff up and restoring some of that range of motion. That's not your ball, buddy. That's not yours. You have your own ball over there, the dirty one. And so just kind of going through, like I said, moving it laterally. Sometimes you'll feel that laterally, keeping pressure down on it. And there's really no time limit. It's, you know, as much as you can tolerate, and the longer the time you can put that pressure in on it and apply that pressure, the more you're going to want to try to relax those muscles, right? It's your body's going to want to fire back. Your body's going to want to, create some tension itself. So just try to relax and breathe through that. That way you can kind of get a little bit deeper of a release in there. And then, yeah, so after that, you know, after the bottom of the foot and after foam rolling, you know, self-myofascial release, whatever you want to call it, different ways. And usually I'll take the tennis ball, or like these therapy balls. And if it's really bad, if I got a lot of tension in my calf, then I'll just kind of place it right next to that shin bone, okay, and just really try to apply that a good amount of pressure and still just moving my ankle, dorsiflexing and plantar flexing, and even going into circles, just to restore some of that range of motion. Okay, especially if you do any like plyometrics or anything like that, then it's really beneficial. All right, but yeah, you can do that on the inside or the outside of your calf right there, and you want to just kind of do it right where that right where it meets up with that shin bone, right in between there. Okay, that meaty part. And then after that, you know, you can spend about, I'd say, just on the bottom of your foot and your calf, you can spend about 10 to 15 minutes, maybe even 20 minutes on there, depending on how tense you are. And then usually my go-to stretch after I'm rolling out the bottom of my foot is just kind of bringing my toes back here. Let's see if I can see a little bit. Probably can see a little bit better. That's not yours. All right, and then so just kind of curling those toes up, back, and then just kind of leaning back, kind of just sitting back a little bit onto those heels. Okay, you have your own tennis ball right here. There. And then just, you know, I'd say anywhere from 20 to 30 seconds, and then you can kind of just switch that stretch out to more of like, you know, your toes from your big toe, moving around a little bit on that. And then for the for your calf, then I would recommend something like either a down dog, you know, where you can kind of get a little bit more of a stretch, an isolated stretch there, or even with both feet down. Okay, or you can do something against the wall where you're pushing that heel back. And then just really trying to get that heel as close as you can to the ground while stretching that whole hamstring, or not hamstring, sorry, calf out. All right, but that's the bottom of our foot and our calf. There's a couple of the self-myofascial release techniques that I like to use. Sorry that he was a distraction at the end, but he has a tendency of trying to steal the show. But that's him. Whenever I put the mat out, then he thinks that it's his time to shine. But I hope you got some benefit from that. I know it was a little long-winded. It's Sunday, you know, take it nice and smooth, take it nice and slow. But yeah, that's something I'm going to try to do every Sunday evening, as far as, you know, just to kind of prepare your body for the week. All right. And we will be doing a different body part each time.